sofa in your living room, this is a great time to become really present to what is going on right here, right now. If you're driving, you can do this with your eyes open. If you are sitting somewhere where you're not operating heavy machinery, you can go ahead and close your eyes and deepen your breath just a little bit as you breathe in and out through your nose. This helps you to relax into this moment and be very present without being stressed out. Also, with this moment, you can become aware of the sounds in your environment, welcoming everything you hear. And notice how sounds arise from the silence and return to the silence, just like my voice. Also, to anchor yourself into this present moment, notice your emotional state. Notice what you're feeling emotionally and maybe where it represents in the body. Notice what you're feeling physically. If you're sitting down, notice the support you're getting from the chair or the sofa or wherever you are. And notice how you can completely relax into that cushion, into that support. You can soften your face, let your shoulders drop a little bit, and let your belly relax. Letting your breath return to its natural rhythm if it hasn't already. Become aware of the breath as it moves in and out of your nostrils. Notice how your body responds to the breath. And notice the pauses between each breath. So that took a couple of minutes. And that's what I call a mindful moment. It's often what we do when we're starting a meeting, is to take this moment and be here now. Bring your whole attention into this moment. And also to become aware of your intention. What is it you hope to receive? What is it that you're here for? Just becoming completely present to that. Now, there are a number of people on the call. I see most people I've introduced myself to. There's Diane and Mary, Jamie and Cheryl, Corinne, who is one of our course advisors and teachers in Nashville. And I'm going to unmute us right now, and I can introduce myself. And if you'd like to introduce yourself and maybe ask whatever questions you have, I'm going to start by letting you know that I have been teaching meditation teachers since about 1993. I've been teaching meditation I'm meditating since 1989, and I started teaching teachers when I worked with Deepak Chopra. Now, it's one of who would have thought that was a job description? I've got to tell you, I absolutely love to usher in people into their ability to be really present, hold space for, and to engage others so that they too can find the benefits of meditation and mindfulness. I started the Meditation Teacher Academy, I think it was in 2012. So we're on to our 6th year, and it started with a home study, and I'll describe the program in a little later from now, but it started in 2012, and I live in Sedona, Arizona, where I've lived for 17 years. I have a meditation center here, and I noticed that my students would come back and again, and finally started asking, well, how can I learn to teach like you do? I started sending them to the Chopra Center. I also sent them to the Zen Buddhist monastery where I lived so they could immerse themselves into Zen. And then sometimes I would send them off to other teacher training programs like MBSR and TM even. Now, all of them have a great reputation, and all of them teach meditation a certain way. But what I started to recognize is they had to choose between how they were going to invest their time and money and what they were going to actually be able to deliver to the people who are interested in it, in their community, in their families, in their workplace. So I recognized that I had to broaden their horizons and mine, and that's where this teacher training program was born. I recognized that my journey was really comprehensive, learning Zazen, learning Bhakti Yoga, learning yoga itself, learning primordial sound meditation and the TM meditation when I lived in the TM community, advanced techniques, walking meditations, and I decided let's just encompass it all. And the more I did that, the more I recognized the similarities between every single technique, regardless of the particular name for it, or language used around it, or outfit people wore, or mantras people used. So this program has been attended to by 300 students who have actually completed the program, and they're teaching all over the world. Some people took this program simply for their own personal development, and other people take this program to open centers or to go into a workplace or bring it into a school or teach in their local church or community center. And so there's so many expressions of what a meditation teacher can do. And so I wanted to kind of check in with you, and actually, I think, Corinne, maybe you could, I know you're driving, but if you'd like to say hello and introduce yourself. I know a few of these people know you.
Yeah, so I think the only one I don't know is Diane, maybe. I think everybody else are my people. So yeah, it was wonderful intro, Sarah. Thank you so much. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of Sarah's program. And I'm happy everybody's on the call and interested in, I've been also teaching meditation for almost 30 years, and had been wanting to teach people how to teach meditation, but didn't have the time or energy to develop the amazing program that Sarah's developed. So I'm just thrilled that she's taken the time, and her expertise is like way beyond mine in all the details of the course and what's involved. And I just feel very honored to be a part of it and to be able to usher new meditation teachers.
Thanks, Corinne. Well, Corinne and I met years ago working at the Chopra Center, and actually weren't even working there yet. And we found we had a lot in common. Maybe you were teaching yoga there. I don't exactly remember what you were up to, but I know we had a lot in common. I was really immersed in the transcendental meditation community for years, and I know Corinne was maybe one of her first forays into meditation. We were both doing the advanced techniques and learning how to. We became sort of the president of the advanced technique classes that we both were engaged in. It's unusual because, first of all, I've never really met that many people who have done those advanced techniques, never mind been the president of the advanced technique program. So it was kind of synchronistic for sure. And, the truth is I've worked with many, I'd have to say thought leaders. I'm not going to say new age because many of them are old age. I'd have to say old wisdom. But a lot of thought leaders, and I did a lot of work with curriculum, how to structure a program, what the rhythm and flow should be, how to teach people so they really embody and live these lessons they're learning. Now, there are a lot of meditation teacher training programs where you can pay maybe $500 and go through a series of videos, take a test, and boom, you're in. And I know many people who have done that, and they say, wow, that did not prepare me at all. What I like to do is have you really dive into your personal practice, really explore concepts such as, and you probably are very familiar with them, present moment awareness, beginner's mind, what the effects of stress are and what stress release is, and how to manage that, self-compassion and compassion for others, understanding who you really are, what it is and who it is that's looking through your eyes, and that consciousness that's receiving all the sensory inputs. And then looking at how you speak your truth, what you do if you ask for what you want, how to follow your intuition and be a good listener too, how to receive. Also, we teach you a lot about living in tune with nature and the daily routines, and how to support your practice, the various essentials that you'll need to really embody and embrace. We have 9 books that we study. We also have 10 lessons that we work with, and that's even before you come to the intensive, whether you're taking the intensive in Ireland, Nashville, or Sedona, Arizona. And people are starting all the time. I mean, just today I got I got an application, and we get 1 or 2 a week. So there are people starting every single week. And that's great because some people are just finishing, some people are starting, and you can share your wisdom and your questions. And it's always nice to have this community, and it's a pretty active community. We have it on Facebook. It's a private group where people post. We ask them to post things like their favorite meditation that they listen to, maybe their favorite chant. We ask them to post 5 meditation research studies and the findings and why they interest you. You know, we really emphasize not only the spiritual aspect of it, not that we ask you to teach anything spiritual, but we emphasize your own personal self-development and help you to be immersed in the conversation of meditation, regardless of the tradition it arises from or the religious aspect of it, just so you can teach the techniques versus the traditions. Now, each one of us probably has our own personal practice, and I never want to negate that. What I like to do is help you to expand it to include many more practices. Some people I just talked to were really steeped in transcendental meditation. Others, their practice is MBSR. Other people practice primordial sound meditation. Others are really involved in the Art of Living program with Ravi Shankar, or the Vipassana program with Goenka. So we don't say, okay, that's it, you've got to go my way or the highway. We say, great, dive deep into your personal practice and begin to become aware of the landscape of meditation and mindfulness practices that are out there. There are a lot of brand names, there's a lot of hype, but what are the real aspects of it? Now, I'm going to, a lot of you are unmuted, and if you'd like to share, I see we have someone from 714. Is that you, Christine?
That's me.
Hi, Christine. So let me tell you a little bit about who Christine is and how Corinne's going to be helping as well. When you join the program and get accepted, you are assigned a course advisor. And a course advisor is somebody who helps you in terms of navigating the curriculum and also helps you through your own self-limiting beliefs and whatever issues arise with your personal practice. Each one of them has been a meditation teacher for a while. Christine's gone through the course. I don't even remember when that was, Christine. Do you remember when
I went through it November 2014.
Wow. Pretty good. So so I'm going to open up the questions now. If anyone has any questions about the content or the structure of the program, or anything about your personal, maybe your roadblocks, your concerns about getting out and speaking in public, anything to do with that, I'd love to encourage you and share. I know many people say, well, the last thing I want to do is get up and talk in front of people, because that's, I think, the second biggest fear, or maybe the first biggest fear outside of death. And so a lot of people freak out about that. And what we know is, as a teacher, what we really help you to develop is confidence in the way that you teach, confidence in the way that you present information. And I wanted to ask you, Christine, about your journey into that, and from going from a student into a teacher.
Yeah, when I went through the program, I had no intentions of teaching. I found Sarah and I started a consistent meditation practice and immediately saw the results and wanted to learn more about a year after that. But I didn't want to teach. And there I was after the intensive on the plane talking to the stranger next to me. And just close your eyes. I'll guide you through a meditation. So I started teaching the stranger on the plane on the way home. And I started teaching, probably only a month thereafter graduating at a meditation studio that was in my local area. And yeah, there's a lot of fear. I don't really enjoy talking in front of people. It's like if you start thinking about it when you're doing it, that kind of doesn't help. But once you start doing it, you just roll into it. And really comes from this desire to share the practice, because really that's why I teach, is just to share this practice. So with that desire, you become, it just kind of moves through you.
Well, thank you. I love, I think it would be important for you to share what you were doing before all this. I mean, it wasn't as if you were having this in mind, or you were in the meditator for many, many years, but when you heard about it, it sort of started to call you forth, right? In some way.
Yeah, I was in marketing. I worked at an ad agency and then freelancing in marketing for 25 years. Very stressful. And it's really interesting. I don't think there's any kind of accidents. The way I met Sarah, and I was in my marketing career, but once I went through this course, the marketing projects kind of fell away. So I feel like it's no mistake that I went through this and that now I'm doing it. I really feel like it was meant to be.
Well, I love can you share a little bit about how you spend your, days, what classes you're teaching now? And I mean, I know it all just comes to you when you put yourself out there, but just so that people get a sense of what this training prepares you to do.
Yeah, for me, I kind of I teach at a lot of yoga studios. So I'll go in and just teach like a drop-in class, 45-minute drop-in class. Kind of go through the essentials, how to sit, and guide them through a meditation, and then have some Q&A after. In addition to that, I do like a little workshops a few times throughout the year. When you go through the really good job of
We missed what you said there. At least I did. I think you're dropping in and out.
Oh, sorry.
There you are.
I was saying how you give such good, when you go through the intensive, you get such comprehensive material, and you gain all this knowledge, and you're provided with, outlines. You'll get to see Sarah teach. You have scripts, which eventually become your own as they morph into your own words. So I'll teach a lot of workshops, like, introducing people to meditation or mindfulness, or I have a self-love workshop coming up next month. So a combination of workshops and drop-in classes, and then you'll have people call you and be like, oh, I have this event. Are you able to, guide a meditation? So it's kind of grown over the years. I also teach yin yoga. So my yin yoga is my way to sneak in meditation for people that think they can't sit still. And that actually did morph into a meditation class at one of the studios. So we started with 2 yin classes, and I kept talking about meditation. And so now it's 1 yin class and 1 meditation class. And people are pretty excited about that, people that have never meditated. So it's just such a beautiful practice to share. Can you hear me?
I can.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're kind of going in and out too.
I am. Okay, hold on. Is anyone, Christine or Corinne?
Hello?
I can hear you, but I think we lost.
I'm here, but I can't hear other people.
I'm here.
Okay.
I think we all just went in and out for a minute, but I know that many of us are still here. So Cheryl or Jamie or Mary, do you have any questions for Christine or Corinne and for me regarding the program?
So this is Mary. When I look through the materials, one of the things it talks about is doing some kind of, 21-day retreat, or, whether it's online. And I wondered, is that also needing to happen before March?
Oh, if you come if you come over to Nashville for the intensive, actually it's a suggestion. we ask you to do a half-day silent retreat or a full-day silent retreat, but the 21 days, that kind of online program is a suggestion. It is also something I highly recommend because you're going to be so immersed in so many types of meditation that you could treat that as an intensive, but you don't have to go away on retreat. You don't have to do that. It's just a suggestion, but we do ask that you do a half day. That is a requirement.
That's helpful because again, I am very, interested, and I looked at each of the ones that was suggested, and honestly, coming to, one of your retreats in Sedona at some point, I'm trying to figure out. I'm an attorney, and so I'm trying to figure out: do I have the time to do this study? And I would be doing it in Nashville, but I won't be able to kind of also travel before March.
You don't have to. You don't have to do that at all. And we've had a number of attorneys come through the program. They make it work, so I know you can too. I know it's about carving out that time for yourself. And again, this journey is, I've gotten so many beautiful emails over the last 2 days. I actually am going to just read you, if I can find one. I was just speaking in Alberta, Canada, and this woman was so inspired that she said, go ahead and share what you're feeling about it. She said, so here's somebody, she said, Sarah McLean, it's about me, but they were talking about me, but it's the program really. She changed my life with meditation. I worked up the nerve to apply to the program after meeting her at a talk she gave in Flint. I was accepted and began my journey towards my dream to bring peace into this world, to help give people in all situations a tool to help calm them down. When I was in the intensive, my emotions were high. I was so happy to be not only in her presence, but with so many like-minded people. The support I received from the school was like nothing I've ever received before. Sarah brings a feeling of peace, love, and acceptance, and all of them really listen. There's never a feeling of judgment. I find myself daily thinking of my time at the intensive, the group I was with, and all the teachers. I know that all of them are only a phone call away for help and guidance. I can't wait till I can go back and help next time. So what happens is you create this amazing transformative journey, and it's really about yourself. Yes, the ultimate goal is that you go out and teach. But some people don't. Some people go through the whole program and they say, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm not ready to do that now. And they might teach a couple of coworkers or family members. But what's happening now, and maybe you've seen this, Christine, is people are popping up now in the first classes and now opening their own meditation studios. They've been kind of dabbling, and those 5 years later, they're ready to roll. So there's no particular timeline you're supposed to do something by, except for the training itself. We give you actually a year and a half to go through the program. So if you aren't able to, complete the program in time to go to Nashville, you can have an extension, and we even offer extensions. Some people, it does take them 2 years, especially if there's a family emergency or some extenuating circumstance. People do tend to ask for time when that's the case. But if you can't make it by March, I'm sure that Corinne and I will set up another one in the future, and so that could work too. My suggestion, some people love to take their time going through the program. They like to do like 4 hours a week or 2 hours a week, whereas other people like to race through it and treat the whole thing like an intensive. So it's really going to be up to you and your study habits. We'll support you in whatever pace you want to go. I'm sure, Christine, you've seen many different rhythms of all the students you've mentored at this point.
Yeah, and one thing, like everyone has their own pace, but I have to say for me, it never felt like work. For me, when I was doing when I was going through the course, it was that time for self-love and self-exploration. So I never considered it really work. It was that time where I looked forward to. So I always tell the students, I'm like, oh gosh, I never want this to feel like work, or, oh, I have to do it. This should be when you have your coffee or your tea and you're sitting down and you're really immersed and enjoying it and being bathed with this nourishment. So I hope that everyone feels that, because that's what I felt when I went through the program.
Thank you, Christine. Jamie or Cheryl, do you have any questions or comments?
This is Cheryl. The comment I have so far is that, just to acknowledge that, you're somehow answering the questions, that I have. So, right now, I have a career, I have a corporate career that I've been involved in as a scientist for, 18 years now. And long story short, my work is very demanding, but I've been interested in meditation for, half my life as well, and practicing and all this. And I won't give you my resume, but on either front. But what I will say is that I'm extremely busy right now. I'm a mom of a small child, and it's very valuable to me to hear the value that comes from taking the time, because that is because that's my main concern as well, is carving out that space and still fulfilling my sort of ongoing kind of the Dharma at the moment.
We've actually had a number of research scientists. I don't know what kind of scientist you are, but we've had a number of them go through the program as well. And it's almost as if, it sounds like you've already done this, it's almost as if you're really working both sides of the brain, so with your meditation practice. Obviously you're doing that. Ours is definitely, I'd have to say, more fundamental in terms of really recognizing the research, staying abreast of the current research, whether it's about anxiety or sleep or mental health, physical health, emotional health. I think that, we emphasize that because you want to be, as far as I'm concerned, I want all the teachers that go through this program to be the smartest person in the room, if they can be, when it comes to meditation and it's the research findings, so that it's not just, I don't know about you, Corinne, but when I was first teaching meditation, there wasn't a lot of research out there. There was one study on how it lowered cholesterol. There was another study on how it improved sleep and how it reduced blood pressure in African American seniors. And so most of the time I would say to people, look, it works, you have to trust me. And now with the current landscape of research and findings and a lot more funding going on, we're finding that we can really prove our point, and it makes a really good argument for learning. When people come to us with high blood pressure or chronic pain or loss of a loved one, we know that meditation is really going to help. And even there's a research study that shows that it helps improve seniors' sense of loneliness. I mean, it's such a multifaceted, it has so many applications, and there's so many ways to do it. And so I think for you, if you have a regular practice, like Christine said, I think it would be just a yummy way to spend whatever, if you ever carve out an hour or two a week for yourself, it's a great way to spend that hour or two. And a lot of it you can listen to recordings, because we will have live calls like this that go through each of the lessons, but there are also eight different series that you can listen to, and you can just download it and listen to it when you go for a walk if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, time is a consideration for sure, but it's going to be up to you. Does it feel like, it's possible? You have to think about, if you look at it this way, if you have 4 hours a week that you're carving out, and I know that's a lot, so we'll double it if we need to, but if you have 4 hours a week that you carve out, that's 16 hours a month. You'll need 10 months to go through this program. That does not include your personal practice. So 10 months. So if you did 2 hours a week, that's almost 20 months to go and be ready for the intensive. I'm just letting you know that because, some people need that. Some people need to take their time. There's no, as my grandmother used to say, there are no prizes, in terms of like getting it all done as quickly as possible. Now, I know that once you get started, 2 hours is going to go by so fast that you'll want to do more, but that's just basically, if you look at it, it is about 150 hours home study. So you could do 8 hours a week and get it done in half that time. So
I have to say, when I was going through it, when I got to like lesson 8 and 9, I started to slow down on purpose because I didn't want it to end.
I love hearing that. I love hearing that. So, Jamie, any questions or comments from you?
No, you just answered my biggest question. Was like, okay, because I'm a CPA and a CFP, so I'm obviously a numbers person. But you broke it down and said, 2 hours, 10 months a week. That's kind of what it equals. So that was just really my question. It's just kind of, all right, exactly what are we talking about? But no, that's perfect. And I don't have a lot of time, but I figure whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to make time for it. So
Yep. And your relationship to time will change too. It's like, I think unfortunately, a lot of us don't examine all aspects of our lives. We sort of say, well, this is how it is. And I think with this expanding awareness that occurs with this program, you might make different choices about, who you hang out with, how you spend your free time,
right.
It can be pretty informative. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
Pretty informative. So you get to really.
Although the 4-year-old in my life takes up a lot of the time.
Yeah, good. Well,
which is good.
Yeah. Now you have a 4-year-old, and Cheryl. How was it? You, Cheryl, or Mary, who had a young child?
No, I too. This is Cheryl. I too have a 4-year-old. I think
good.
Jamie and I have met.
Yeah. No, I think we've met. I know Mary and I have met a lot of times.
We've had people bring their newborn to the intensive, just so you know. I mean, it has happened. They don't come to the intensive, but they travel with them, obviously with the moms. And so it can be done. Where there's a will, there's a way. It can be done. It's just really about you and being kind to yourself as you go through the program and not putting any undue pressure on yourself, because, as I like to say, there are no meditation emergencies. Never really. I mean, maybe one person once would have one. Maybe they have an experience they did not enjoy in a meditation. It's triggered them in some way. But I've never met anyone with a meditation emergency, whether that's learning to become a teacher or meditating on your own. So now I know Corinne's on the call, and she's muted, but I'm going to unmute you, Corinne. Do you have anything you'd like to add? I don't know if she's still on the call. I see her name, but Corinne?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I was talking and I was muted, but I'm here. Yeah, I love the call, love Christine's comments, and so happy that Jamie and Mary and Cheryl are on the call. They're all my people, and just so proud of them, and they're all professionals and all disciplined and also totally dedicated to their meditation. So I'm just super excited that they came today and participated and met you and Christine. That's awesome.
Wow. Well, yes, I'm excited. Well, I mean, once you get involved in yoga, just like Christine says, you're opening the door to people really wanting to explore more. How can I do this on my own? How can I extend my shavasana? How can I become more and more self-aware, and I think meditation's a natural extension of yoga. I mean, if you read the Yoga Sutras, which will be the first book we ask you to read, which some people go, why am I reading this? But when you read the Yoga Sutras, you'll see out of the 200 or so aphorisms, only 2 of them have to do with posture. The rest have to do with how you interact with yourself, with the world, with your mind, with your daily routine, really tenets for living, being generous, being present, learning how to turn your attention inward. I mean, the 8 limbs, only one of them is asana. So you really are going to get a chance to explore the other 7, which that's the last 3 are the trifecta, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. I mean, that's the trifecta. But if they're not separate, but yoga is not the only way to expanding awareness. It's such a beautiful marriage between the 2. I'm really excited to have you on this call, Corinne, and I'm excited that we've decided to do this together. curriculum is my favorite. Teaching meditation, as Christine was saying, for me, I was trying to describe it. It's like being on a raft going down a river. And this river, once you get very familiar with the rapids and the way the river ebbs and flows and the widens and narrows, I feel like what happens is your teaching is informed by this river of knowledge, this river of awareness, and you're riding it and you're sharing it with what your audience needs at that moment. And it becomes so much it's not about you, it's about your willingness to share, your willingness to be generous, and your willingness to stay present enough that you can be the best conduit for this information. And the thing is, once you overcome, some of us have a lot of fear of public speaking, once you overcome that and gain this confidence, that is so out of the way that, who you are comes so shining right through, and that's the biggest teacher. It's who you are, not what you say. Isn't that what Emerson once said? Who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear a word you're saying. So you end up being the person that they go to find out how to feel more self-aware, more present, less stressed, more vital, more creative. So you're it. And you'll know if you're it. I mean, this job is not, it selects you. The energy goes around the room and then taps you on the shoulder and say, oh, you're up. So I don't know if that's happened for you, and that's why I never like to force anyone into becoming a teacher, because it doesn't fit everybody. Not everybody is hearing the call to do that. But if you are hearing the call, I can assure you that if you're hearing the call, we can help you make that a reality.
This is Mary. That's good to hear, because the thing I don't fear is the speaking. I mean, I've done the National Institute of Trial Advocacy. That the part I fear is the why me. I tell Corinne, I call it my discernment. And so I hear this is the call to do it, and I'm like, oh, not me, surely. I mean, I am not a chill person like Corinne. I think, Jamie and Cheryl know from being around me, I mean, when I tell people I meditate, I usually get a cockeyed look, like, yeah, you can't even sit down, but I can, just the whole idea I think is frightening, of sharing something that I consider this personal.
Yeah. I can understand that. It is such a personal journey that you're on. And the good news is everybody that's gone through this program, they have the same fears that you do. Do I have to come out of the closet? Do I have to tell people what I'm doing here? But what ends up happening quite often is people come to you and say, hey, Mary, if you can do it, my brother says this to me, if you can do it, anybody can do it, because I'm sort of a type A person myself. And he's like, if you can meditate, anybody can do it. So at some point, luckily for all of us, meditation is becoming a little more mainstream. But we aren't, I feel like if you're into your personal practice, whatever it is, yoga, meditation, contemplative prayer, whatever it may be, your personal practice, it's going to inform who you are. And people eventually are going to want to go, how can I deal with this? Mary, I know you know a little bit about this meditation thing. I'm going through this issue in my life. Can you help me? So it might just start like that. That's how it started for me. I didn't tell, especially when I left all of these institutes that were, really the world of meditation, and I moved into the world of the public, and said, well, I'm not telling anyone I teach meditation. I want to be considered normal, because back then it was like weird. And then people started finding me and asking me to do it. And I eventually had to come out of the closet and teach. And I think that will happen to you, but you don't want to push it. You don't want to force it. And we've got such an amazing container of teachers that have gone before you. They are so willing to help you through that, navigating that journey,
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other comments? I know Corinne wanted me to mention that we're in the middle of June. For anyone, and we do this occasionally, we do it about once every 3 months, we offer a reduction in tuition. We can't do it all the time, and we can't do it on a case-by-case basis, so we have to do it on a particular, in a time period. Because we're licensed by the state, they don't allow us to give scholarships, but we do have a reduction in tuition for anyone who applies before the end of June. So I don't know when that'll probably happen again at the end of the summer, but just wanted to let you know in case you're on the fence, that sometimes can help with that. We also have a payment plan for anybody who wants to, put it on their credit card and then wait a little bit and put it on their credit card. We ask you to pay half of it up front and then half of it 60 days before you come. And if, for instance, you sign up and you really don't think, life gets in the way and you can't make the intensive you originally planned on, you can always switch the dates. And there's no charge to switch at one time. You might decide, I'm ready to go to Ireland for the week, or I'm going to wait until the next time it comes to Nashville. You can do that. And so just so you know, it's again, no pressure. There should not be any pressure. So hopefully that helps. Any other comments or questions before we end our call? No? Well, I want to thank you, Christine, for joining us. It was a pleasant surprise to have you on the call. I think your words of wisdom were very helpful. And Corinne, I hope you have a safe journey. It was great to see you yesterday and meet your friend. And I'm looking forward to our time together in Nashville. Hopefully we'll see you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Corinne's an exciting person. I love that she's in the world doing her work. And, I feel like once people get through the training, you become the peers. I mean, you are my colleagues. And when people ask me to come teach, like Christine said, a lot of people ask some of us to come teach here or there. I just say, look, call my people in Nashville, or call the people I've trained in Florida, or call the people I've trained in Australia. And I feel 100% confident once you get through the program that you can do anything that you set your mind to when it comes to this field of meditation training. So thank you all for being on the call. It's been fun. I've got another call in about 10 minutes, so I need to take a little break. But any other last words before we take off?
No, thanks so much, Sarah, for taking the time. It was great.
Thank you, Corinne.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
all. Thanks for joining me. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.